I really do. I kind of wish we all could just see each other through like loving eyes. You know, just see each other like how I imagine God. I'm a very God-believing woman, and I just wish all of us could see each other the way God sees us.
Yeah.
And then we'll just understand people so much more.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Sweet Media, the #1 sweetest podcast in the world, speaking it to existence. Thanks to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for taking out your time every single week to listen, to learn, and to grow with me. My guarantee to you is to bring on guests that I believe are their best, genuine, and authentic self, that are spreading ripples of positivity into the social media world, who will inspire you to do the same. And together we can create big waves. Wow. Pause for dramatic effects. Yeah. Okay, today we have a pleasure to be in the presence of Shnaiah Maonga.
I'm probably been saying it wrong.
How is it?
See,
yeah, I'm not even gonna try.
I've been married 6 years. I still can't even say it right. I know my maiden name.
The basketballer. Oh, remember those days when we used to play basketball? Yep. Oh, you were a baller. Not gonna lie.
RBF face. I still have RBF face all the time, but on the court even more.
Some people wish they had a talent as an RBF, not talent, but like was blessed with
they want it.
Yeah, because like they smile so much, people take advantage of them.
They can have mine. They can take mine because people hate me because they just think I got a resting beat, and I don't know. Maybe I am. Maybe I have it. I don't know.
Well, maybe it's God's way of blessing us and not wasting our time. Because if we was smiley, imagine how many people would want to talk to us.
Too many people would come up.
Exactly.
Maybe that's exactly why I don't smile, because I'm like, I ain't got time for this.
I bet that was the smile that Chris fell in love with, was the RBF.
I don't know what he fell in love with. I don't know if he knows what he fell in love with. He got in and he said, "What the frick did I just jump into?" But
so usually I like to do research before I invite someone over. I just honestly think that you're doing so much good in the world just by doing what you're doing, not only with your guys' career path that you've taken, but also being authentic with your journey that you're taking, your personal journey, and also just like sharing stuff on social media. I saw that, I'm not sure what state you guys were at, but you met a guy at a Kohl's store, I think it was, and you like took him, got him some warm stuff, and what state was it?
Yeah, that was here.
You want me to tell the whole story?
That was here. Do you want me to tell it? I can tell the story.
Yeah.
So I really don't like to post. Like, I mean, I do, but I don't, because I don't want people to be like, oh, look, they're trying to like put out this facade of like they're giving, it's not what it's about. It's more to try to inspire people and to help them see that we are so blessed as individuals in everything we have, especially here in this country. I think throughout our travels, my husband and I have been able to see that a lot, that we are given, even those that may think they have nothing, they have a ton, And so when we see that in our own country, it's kind of hard, because it kills me that they're given opportunities, because this is such a great country that we live in, that we have opportunities to build businesses, to become better, to be our best selves, and we're not limited by a dictator or anything like that. And so when I see our own people struggling within our country, it's hard. But this guy we saw at the mall, just really close, and he was just walking around. It was around Christmas time, and a lot of people were rushing and in the hustle and bustle of Christmas. And, I was actually on a phone call, on a business call, and walking, and I was watching him, and I could see he would just go from store to store. He had one plastic bag. And as we watched him, I just went up, I was like, I gotta get off this call, because I just kept feeling it, like, go talk to him. And I was like, I'm on a call, I can't go, like sometimes we get lost in our own world and stuff like that. And so my husband was somewhere, I don't know where he was, but then I just went up to him and I said, hey man, you hungry? And he was like, yeah. So I said, all right, let's go eat. And throughout my experiences with like people, they are the most genuine people, and like eye contact is huge for them. I feel like they get they don't get looked at enough. And I feel like so many times they just feel like they're not a part of this world and they don't feel that genuine love from other people. So, and also time. They just want someone to spend some time with them because people just go by and go by and go by and they don't care. Like, you know, they just feel like they're worthless. So I told my husband, I'm like, we're gonna go take him to go get something to eat. And his name was Randy. And he told us he was a river rat because he lives, like, he's just been going from place to place to place. He called himself that. But he said he liked to camp. And so I was like, all right. And we bought him a meal. And then afterwards, we took him to Kohl's. And we got him clothes. I don't know. My husband and I were going crazy. Like, you would have thought it was Christmas morning because we're like, what about this? What about this? What about this? Do you want this? You want this? Let's go. And he was just looking at us like, you guys are crazy. But it was what little we could do. And then we went and took him and got him a hotel room for a week, hon. Yeah, we went and got him a hotel room just for a week. And that was just a small, like, I hated it because at that time it was like 10 degrees outside, you know, and I hated the fact that I couldn't do more, you know, like I wanted to do more, but I couldn't do more, but I had to be okay with what we could do. And so I think so many times when we have experiences like that, we think we're doing the service to the other people, but in actuality, it actually becomes service unto us because we learn so much and we feel like true love for people, you know, and like, I don't even know this guy. And I feel this immense love for him and like this care where it's like, I told him a couple times, I'm like, you're loved, dude. Like, you are loved. Because he didn't have family, he didn't have, you know, so as Polynesian people, we love everybody. And so I just felt like, here you go, here's our love, and this is what we can do. But I share it, I think, more to try to help others to, one, be grateful for what they have, because I know myself that I don't always show that gratitude, you know, and then also hopefully to inspire them to say, hey, one, we have enough, and two, maybe there's someone out there that can use your help. But I don't know. That's the story.
Dang, that's crazy. Going back to what you said in the beginning, because you're right, you didn't share it. I found it on Chris's page.
Oh, you punk.
And he literally said, my wife, like, you were the one who like went and actually talked to him, whatever. But what you said in the beginning, like, I felt that was you didn't want to post because people are gonna say like, oh, you're like, isn't that crazy how many good stuffs are not posted on social media because we think people are going to be negative about it. One thing that stood out was on Thanksgiving Day, I feel like every year everyone's posting memes about, for you guys who feed homelesses or something like that, don't go live because that's their livelihood, you know? Yeah. But it's like your mindset, right? For me, like when I go out, because I didn't share about me helping feed the homeless in Vegas like I do every year, but that's my way to recruit more people, you know? And I feel like that there's so much people out there who are grateful to see those kind of stuffs because they don't know that stuffs are available to do that, you know? Like it doesn't hurt you to just like make one kind move. But it's people like that who post negative things on social media that stop us from sharing.
Or they say it behind your back. Or like, you know, like you hear it through the grapevine and you're like, I wasn't even about that. Like, you're missing the point. So yeah, I totally agree with that. Like,
I feel like that's just going to continue to happen. So I encourage you to continue to share all your good things that you do. Because it really, I was like, man, how can I do that when I saw your guys' post? Yeah. And I saw it like around the time that you guys posted. But it's crazy because even the things that I post, like there's some like naysayers, but there's also like
and screw them. That's what I say. Forget you.
Because really, there's so many other people that's rooting for you. Yeah, you know.
And I think I saw that a little bit later, like because people do like when you run into them, and you haven't seen them in a long time. They're like, "Hey, thanks for sharing that." And then it's not like you do it like, "Oh, good job, me." Like it was more like, okay, maybe it is impacting in the way that I was hoping that it would impact. More to like inspire. Let's all just. You know, we live in this world where it's such a negative, ugly world sometimes that we need more positivity. We need more good things. We need to share that more with each other than the stuff that's happening. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Look, I'm learning something new too.
Hey, we're learning from you too. Which I did want to bring up. Good transition. I'm getting better at that, honey. She's not even listening. She's probably editing another video, huh? I knew it. No, but for like helping people, like I think that's one thing that I like connected with you, is because you were talking a lot about getting free money, and who doesn't love free money? That's what caught my attention, and you're the reason why I signed up for a credit card. It's so crazy. Like I think I had guys, okay, listen. If you don't have a credit card and your dad told you that that's the devil, forget that. Okay, like I hurt myself by not having a credit card a long time ago. I found out you need at least 4 or 5 like line of credits to even like, and
for
I
at
was
least
like,
2 years before they'll like start looking at you for other. Yeah,
crazy. Yeah. So in one day I opened 4 lines of credit in one day.
Good for you.
I was like, yeah, freak you, dad. Yup, sign here.
It's good to open. I don't know about using it, but as long as you're doing it the right way, it's good.
Yeah. Do you only share your budgeting things on your social media, like on Instagram?
Yes, for the most part. Like right now, that's what I've been doing. A lot of people, and those of you that have, thanks for reaching out, they've reached out and we've met with them. Like, I mean, when was the last time you and I had linked up? It's been a long time.
Over a decade.
What's crazy to me is a lot of them are from the singles ward. And I'm like, hey guys, like, you know, because I disappeared for a while in Colorado. Now I'm back. And so I've been meeting actually with quite a few people, which has been good because then we have a more personal, like one-on-one, where are you at? And how can we help you get to where you want to be? Mm-hmm. So I did start it off with like Instagram, and then I started to share on Facebook, just barely, just through the stories. But I ain't any like this. It's nothing like this. I'm just like, hey, I'm in my office. Here you go. My hair is tied up in a bun. I don't care. No makeup, no nothing. This is what I learned, or something like that. And what's been shocking to me is, like, I love our Polynesian people, but how many have a lacking of finances and understanding of how to have finances and how to do things with your finances, you know. And it just blows my mind because, like, I'll never forget living in Samoa with my dad and going to it was a Korean store, a Chinese store, a Filipino store, all these businesses, right? But they're all ran by other ethnicities. And I was like, Dad, what's up? Why aren't the Samoans owning stores? Why aren't they owning the businesses? You know, and that really made an impact on me to be like, okay, we got to help our people become the business owners. We've got to help them be the financially minded. We've got to help them like be ready for the future, because it blew my mind that with so much opportunity in the islands for the people of Samoa, and I'm sure Tonga or Hawaii or wherever else, but the business owners were other ethnicities, you know, outsiders coming in. And so I'm really happy because I know there's a lot of changes happening out there right now in Samoa, like in American Samoa specifically, where people that were here are going back and they're helping out back home, which is huge to me because I think it's a huge thing. But that's kind of what started it, was like our generation, people don't know about finances and they don't teach it in school. And it drives me nuts. It's like, I don't need an algebraic equation. I don't need any of those things. I need to know, like, how do I pay off debt, or how do I pay out, like, just things like that. So that's kind of what sparked the interest in it, I guess. So
that's good, because I feel like most, at least for my family or culture, that money's just not talked about enough, you know, and it's like a sacred thing.
Yep.
Like, you don't talk about it.
And we're such a giving people, you know, like we will give the shirt off of our back, and like to the point where we don't have ourselves, but we're going to give it to whoever needs it. Mm-hmm. And I love that about our culture. Like, I really do. And it's like, let's take that, mix it with a little bit of understanding of finances, and still be able to give, but also be able to have for ourselves. Just like you said at the beginning, we got to have our cup filleth over before we can like give it out to everybody else.
So true. I know a lot of people who go into debt when they like get married and stuff like that, and they're not even, it's like they're fuzzing. It's like their cousin's brother's wife's wedding.
Yep.
And they'll just funeral.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And then nobody gets life insurance, but then they go into debt at the funeral. You know what I mean? Like
they're just not prepared.
Yeah.
And it's sad.
Or educated.
Yeah. That's really what it comes down to. It's like, and it's not their fault. You know, that's what drives me nuts. It's not their fault because, and it's not just Polynesian people. It's Palangi people. It's Latinos. It's anybody. Like, and it's not their fault. It's just, I don't know if they don't want us to know how to figure it out, but I don't know. They want us to earn money off of our interest or I don't know, but it's like, it's just sad because I think it's something that should be taught in our school systems and it's not. So
yeah, for me, at least growing up, if you did talk about money, it would come from somebody that you trust. You know, and I feel like that's the only way our parents would talk about it. But if not a lot of us are educated, you know, the only person who's educated, you don't even know them.
Yep.
So it's pretty crazy. And I think that's why it's great to like live other places. And didn't you like grow up in Denver?
Yep.
And then you moved here and then you moved Colorado.
Yep.
And then you moved back.
Yep. And I've lived in Chile and Samoa.
Oh, that's right. That's where you served, right, Chile?
Yep, I served in Chile, so I've lived out of the country a little bit.
Nice,
but yeah.
See, but like you understand like what it's like to not have and what it's like to have.
Exactly, and I think that's where you find balance. You know, we don't need to be crazy and have like these big, huge houses, and like not saying that people that do that it's a bad thing, but it's like it's okay to live within our means, and it's okay to just be okay with what we have. Like there's not a lot of things out here that we are in need of, I feel like. So that's what I do appreciate about, like, once again, referring back to Samoa and even Chile, they're so happy with what they have. You know, they don't need more. And that's all they care about is they got family, they got love, you know, hopefully they got food on the table, but if not, it's okay. They're okay. You know, so that's what I do like is being more grounded in that aspect. Yeah,
for sure. That makes sense. But it's kind of crazy to think that like there can be more. You just like, you know, you just got to go out, like actually get out of your comfort zone.
You got to go do something.
Right?
Takes action. Yep.
But I can see how like the saying more money, more problems like was made up of, you know?
Yep.
But I just also feel like that was an excuse.
Well, I think people shouldn't hate money. I think it's also like where much is given, much is required. You know, and I think that when people are given a lot, it's okay to be blessed and to have a lot of, to be financially stable. There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay. But just remember where much is given, much is required. And you got to go do something with that. You got to go help somebody else. Or there is something that you can do to go help somebody else rather than so just keeping it to yourself. But
well, that's definitely appreciated for you to share all of those. And if you're not following her, go follow her. What's your handle again?
At Naya Monga. Did I say it right? No, just kidding. At Naya. No, just kidding. Mounga. That's my handle, I think, on my
Nayamaunga.
Yes,
and then you can also find in your highlights, right? You saved all the videos for like the credit cards and interest rates. You also help with like real estate things. One thing that you recommended us to do was look out of state. I didn't know that was a thing. See, like to own property outside. I thought like, well, I guess like you do have to kind of like live there, but maybe we should leave that part out.
Yeah, live there. No, just kidding.
Just watch her Instagram and she'll show you the secrets. Let's see. So I did want to talk about. Are you still doing your YouTube?
Yes, we just haven't had like, you know, we haven't had a ton of reasons why, or like, well, we will now. We do have some stuff coming up soon, but we haven't had any reasons to post a video.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of just put it on pause for a little bit, but we will eventually have some more content coming up just because I didn't really expect anything of it, but like.
Did it blow up?
Well, no, like I just kind of did it just to, I got tired of answering the same question over and over. So I was like, go watch my video. Here you go. Like, you know, like just go follow my thing and watch the video. So, but yeah, that was that was the only thing. But I think that was another thing that's very taboo in our culture. You know, fertility.
Yeah.
And just dealing with it. And like, you know, there's a lot of wise tales out there where it's like, oh, you're not living your life the way you're supposed to. You're not righteous, or God doesn't love you, or just, you know, like things where it's like, oh, our family's cursed. And so then you get the curse of the family because you, like, girl, I heard everything.
You did?
Yes, I heard everything.
Oh my gosh.
And so
I'm like,
my
God.
oh, actually, no, this is just like if I had cancer, or if I had, you know, diabetes, or if I had something else, it's the same thing. Oh, I've heard some funny things, like, and I've also had some great things where they want me to take, like, they want to fofo my stomach, and they want me to take some certain branch tree medicine from the island. So I've, you know, it's been good and bad, but.
Okay, I'm sorry to pause you right there, but I was tripping out at all the stories that you did here. And then I thought about where I'm from. I'm from Molokai, and we have, Molokai, but we have a rock there that really looks like a penis.
Oh no.
And the story to that is if you
go rub it.
No. You have to sleep there overnight.
Oh.
And it will tell you on the thing everything, and like the story behind it. So like I was tripping out all the stories they were telling you, and then I was like, wait, we believe in some of the same things.
Right. We do that too.
Yeah. I've never done that, of course, because I don't have kids, but I've heard. I don't know if it really worked to somebody, but
who be sleeping at that rock? You been sleeping at that rock?
Dude, if you slept at that rock and it worked, or if it didn't work, call me. I want you on this podcast.
I will fly to Molokai and I will sleep by the rock if it gives me a child, okay?
No, for real. Call us. We want to know.
I'm very curious now. I'm going to look it up next time I'm out there. I'm going to be like, well, where is the penis rock?
No. I will show you what it really looks like.
Oh, boy.
It's a tourist attraction too. Like, people go up there and actually look at it. It really does sound pretty crazy, huh?
Honey, you want to go sleep by the penis rock?
It's called the phallic rock.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but more support, bro. At least you can say it actually took two of us. Look.
Oh my gosh.
This is funny.
It really does.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Oh man.
You need to look at that thing. That's too funny. What? Oh boy.
So you mentioned that you started the YouTube and sharing your experience just because you didn't want to answer questions, but you started sharing it on your social media first, right?
Yeah.
And that's why the questions came, you think? Or you just have a huge family and you're like, don't call me, just watch my video.
I think it's like Utah too. You know, like they'll look at you like you married for so long, and then they're gonna see you ain't got kids, and they're like, they kind of think like, oh, are you selfish? Or like, you know, and we travel a lot, so people just thought like, oh, they just are selfish and they don't want to have kids. It's like, so I think I just got tired of it because I did have questions a lot like that where people would be like, when are you guys gonna start a family? Kind of like, was it any of your damn business in the first place? Like, actually, we have been trying to start a family for this long. So I think I got to a point where I was just like, enough. Like, I'm done being asked about it. And so I'm just going to be open about it. And so that's what kind of stemmed the whole thing. And then doing the IVF thing was like so new. And so like we've learned so much doing it. It's crazy.
And you've taught so much. Like,
oh my goodness, it's crazy. Like, it's nuts. Like, it blows my mind. Like, your bodies and what they can do, and truly what a miracle it is to be able to have children, like, and stuff like that. But yeah, so I think it was just one, being tired, and then two, hopefully to bring light, and then having other people feel comfortable where it's like the same thing. It's okay.
Yeah.
Like,
it's not, you're not in it alone. Like, there's other people out there. It's just not talked about.
Yeah. And don't feel bad if it's something that you're going through. It doesn't mean that you're not living your life right. It doesn't mean that you're not, you know, you're not trying. God knows your intentions. He knows it's a righteous desire, and in his time it's gonna happen, you know. So that's kind of how I look at it, and I think my husband looks at it. So it was refreshing because I found a lot of people too would reach out and be like, would open up about it, you know, and they felt like they had someone they could talk to, and they felt like, someone that maybe not be able to understand exactly what they're going through, but could at least sympathize with them and say, hey, I feel it. Like, I feel you, So that was good for me too. I feel like to be able to have kind of a support group in a way.
Yeah. That's crazy. I just think about like all the things that, like, going back to how life is not by default, it's by design. And it's crazy how like the things that we go through was all planned so other people could benefit,
Yeah.
Like what you guys have gone through, like other people are like, you're helping people speak up. You're helping people ask for advice. You're helping other people to understand, like, man, really, like this happens to more than just me.
Oh yeah. 1 in 8 women or couples suffer with fertility, which is crazy. I mean, that's a huge statistic.
Yeah.
And then 1 in 4 women have had a miscarriage at some point or time in their life. And even all society just is very quiet about it.
Yeah.
And it's sad because it's something that it affects women in different ways and affects men in different ways. And they should feel like they have a support group or network to talk to about it. And that it's okay that you've experienced that. Like you shouldn't feel it's nothing you did. It's nothing that you could have controlled. I think I've learned my biggest lesson that I've learned throughout this whole process is I'm not in control, which I'm a control freak and that's hard. But 2, like whatever happens does not define me. And like it's something that like your past, your decisions, they will not define you, and how you react to it is what could define you. So I think that's what I've learned from this is it's not going to define me, but how I choose to react to it is what will define me. That's
crazy. I think it makes us the people we are today too, like mentally, like it's huge just to have like support though, like because there's people out there that's not talking about it and they're just like questioning, you know. And I think it's these, like the podcast that you're doing about it, just like talking to people about it, your YouTube, that all eventually will hit their ears and change their mindset.
They can reach out. I will talk to anybody if they want to think about it because I feel for you. So yeah,
man, that's so awesome because I know it's not easy to talk about for sure, especially to like strangers or like
I'm too open about it. I'm like, girl, you know what, this happened and they do this and then this and I'm like
perfect, you can save it for the DMs.
That's right, slide into my DM and then we talk about it.
No, but for real, like it's so crazy. And this is the whole vision that I have, at least for Sweet Media, as far as spreading ripples, like one share could lead to the right person who's probably thinking thinking about all kind of negative things, about the whole situation, and immediately change. That's crazy. I do have some rapid fire questions. It's gonna blow your mind because we've already been talking for like hecka long, so maybe you should take a drink of water and like take a breather, Okay, let me find these. Do you know how rapid fire works? I'm just kidding. There's no really rules. It just sounds like you have to answer them fast, but it doesn't mean that.
Okay.
It just makes it sound cooler. Rapid fire. I think it's meant to be answer fast, right? But like Polynesian. No, gotta turn out the boggle time. Dang it, where's my list? Oh, here it is. Okay. What's the best advice you have ever gotten?
I don't know how to rapid fire that one. Oh man, that's hard.
I mean, if it's hard to pick, you can just say 2, I guess.
I will say the most recent one that I heard last night from one of my volleyball players, which I was like in shock because the girl's 13 and I was like, dang, was without failures, you cannot progress. I liked that. I was like, all right, little girl, okay, I see you. So that was my most recent one.
Without failures, you cannot progress. That's a dope one. What's the luckiest thing that's ever happened to you? You heard that? You heard that? How's that? What a perfect timing. Yeah, that was so perfect.
Please, I'm you the lucky one, okay?
I know I gave you water. I know you ain't got nothing in your throat.
My husband be thinking it's him, but no, he's the lucky one. I'm just kidding.
That was a good one though. No. Was that on purpose or was that an accident?
That's how big-headed he is, okay? Sorry, babe, you're not the one.
Okay, the second thing. You, but no. The second thing. Dang. I'm just somebody see me on the couch tonight.
It ain't me. Oh, just kidding. I think I'm very lucky to be born in the family that I was born in. Like, I feel very, very, very lucky just because they're great people. So that's what I feel is the luckiest thing happened to me. Dang. My family.
That's family. Awesome. You know, not a lot of people get blessed with a good family.
I ain't
not saying anything, Mom. I love you.
We're far from perfect. But I love that.
Sis, if you just wanted to shout out to your family, I could have done that for you. What are some things you had to unlearn?
Oh gosh. Things I had to unlearn. I had to unlearn to not always be right, which I'm still working on. Because I have a hard time saying sorry. I'm sorry, hun. I just said I'm sorry that you're not the luckiest.
That was pretty funny, though. I really think he was just choking at the perfect timing. I really don't think he tried to do that.
He's still laughing.
If you guys can't see the background, he's like a very tall, muscular man trying to not laugh. That must be difficult.
You know what? Because like when we actually met in high school, and we didn't really meet each other. We knew of each other in high school, and then my first impression of my husband was he is big-headed, he is cocky because he could dunk, and he only dates Palangi girls. So the fact that he just did that just now just proved everything. All my first impressions of him, like punk. But yeah,
that's pretty funny. What a cute love story. That's usually what happens though, right? You fall in love with the most annoying person that you thought, you know, like in the room, you're like, yeah, we're never, no, you guys can marry each other.
Yeah, no. And I asked him the other day, I said, what was your first impressions of me? And you should have heard his response, which I will not say on here. He thought I was attracted to the opposite or to the same sex, which there's nothing wrong with that. But I was like, really? He's like, well, you were lifting so much weight. I was like, so that made me one? Like, really? And you played basketball? I was like, ugh, fool. Obviously, you didn't know. I was like, dude, great. We don't go off of our first impressions of each other.
Right?
Stupid.
Wow. I mean, we can cut that one out if you don't want to. We'll keep it to the archive. I'm just kidding. What is special about the place you grew up? That would be Denver. Where would you say you grew up?
I grew up in Denver, but I grew up right outside of Denver in Wheat Ridge, which is kind of unique because there's a lot of Mexicans in Denver, but in my area there is a lot of Italians. So I had a lot of old school mafia mobsters in my area. So like the kids I went to school with, like their grandparents. So it was just really fun and unique because it was very Italian. I grew up thinking I was Italian. And, you know, like I was like, yeah, I'm Italian. And I'm like, no, I'm actually Samoan and Caucasian. But so that's
pretty close.
Yeah. But they would retire to this little town in Colorado, which is hilarious because you think of all these mobsters and whatnot. So that's what's really cool and unique about my little hometown.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And they all still out there?
There's all
the Italians, yeah.
There's a lot of Italians. Like it's just crazy because they still are pretty much like, because they're older, but their grandkids were the ones that I went to school with. But they were like the 1940s, 30s.
Yeah.
They
really OGs.
Yep, they're the OGs. But then they came out to Colorado for whatever reason. So that's kind of cool where I'm from.
Guarantee they're on like most wanted list or something, hiding out in that little town.
Like, I did not pick on your grandson on the playground. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Like,
so it's like a small town. What would you say the population?
like, it's weird because it's not really a small town because it's right outside of Denver.
Oh, okay.
But it's got that small town feel. It's awesome because a big city, small town feel. So
then that's cool. You can get the best of both worlds.
Exactly. Yeah.
What are you most looking forward to in the next 10 years?
I would say my why. That's what I'm looking forward to, is my why. I have a dream to create that's what motivates me and moves me to work hard in my career. But my why is to create a safe haven, basically like a home for kids that have been sex trafficked or been caught, and just kind of reintroducing them back into society, and then having horses. And so I just want to have lots and lots of land and be able to go spend time with those kids and let them know that whatever's happened to them is not, like, back to that, it doesn't define them, and it's something that I'm very, very passionate about, because you're right, stuff comes out in this podcast, but I was sexually molested when I was younger, and it threw me through a whirlwind in my adult life, and it could have defined me, it could have broke me, it should have broke me, it should have taken me a complete different direction. And I'm so thankful that it didn't. And so I kind of want to hope, like, a hope of mine is to sit there and kids that have suffered through those atrocious things, that they can sit there and have hope and be like, hey, this doesn't define you. There's so much more, to life. So that's what I look forward to in my 10 years, and hopefully having my own kids. But my why for sure.
That is so crazy. Okay, you shared that with me, your plans, the last time we talked. And I think it's it's definitely not a coincidence at who we run into and who we connect with. Because this is the reason why I'm doing, like, all of this, is because I've been through the same experience, and I'm trying to gauge the courage, which it's been growing, but it hasn't been. And I feel like now, like, holy smokes, that's nuts to, like, just hear that somebody on the opposite side of the table went through the exact same thing. And I think, we need to start sharing. I need to start sharing my story, and helping other people on this podcast is, like, one of the ways, because it shows me that you guys are brave enough to, like, be authentic,
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing that I am not authentic about myself. I don't really know if it's because I'm not ready or I just waiting for the perfect moment. But Ailani, which is kind of crazy, is I interviewed her last week, and it was just about all the things, Ailani, right?
Mm-hmm.
All the things that she was going through, and we got done. We were talking stories. She was about to leave, and then I told her, like, why I'm doing all of this, like exactly what I said, to build courage. And she was like, well, when do you think you're gonna be ready? How about now, sis? And I was like, what? And she was like, let's sit down right now and let me interview you. And I was like, okay. And so we did it, and it wasn't as, like, personal, but I feel like little by little we will be ready, and I would be more than happy to help with whatever you need for when this time comes to share. But one thing she did say is, just think about it, this needs to be rushed, because every day it's happening to another person.
Yep.
And another person.
Yep.
And in their own house, usually with somebody they trust.
Yep. Yep.
That was me too.
Yep. And it's sad. It's so sad, because, like, I saw like, repeat, like, where it went from my mom's generation to my generation to my niece's generation, and it wasn't the same exact person, but it happened, each generation. And it's just like, at what point do we open up the can of worms and say, hey, first off, this is not okay. Second of all, if you have been through this and you have experienced this, it's not your fault. And it doesn't mean you're broken. It doesn't mean something, that you could have controlled it, because you had no control whatsoever. And I think that we need to be more open about it because we're taught to just brush it under the rug, especially when it's somebody that's known, and especially if they're trying to save face. And it's like, no, they were in the wrong. That shouldn't have happened. It's put me through a living hell. It's put, I'm sure, you through a living hell, that you've had to deal with things in your adult life where you're like, where the frick did this come from? Because it straight up put me, like, I got diagnosed with depression and anxiety, and it all stems back from that, and PTSD. And it all stems back to those moments, and it sucks because I still have to see that person, I still have to, like, now I'm an adult where I'm like, I need to see that fool. Like, and I've also tried to learn how to forgive in my heart and be like, okay, but it still bothers me that they get to go on living their life, pretending like nothing happened. And we have to sit there with this like enclosed feeling of just like, like so much anger, And so I feel for you, and you also have to do it on your terms and your time. And it's got to be something that you're comfortable with.
So it's crazy that you said that, how it like affects generation. I think that's one of the reasons why it's such a touchy subject, because like not even having to say it, I feel like some of my family members have experienced it too, that are older than me, that I didn't want to like talk or, and it's crazy because like you think that you're over it because it's been years, and it just like something comes up and you're just like, what in the world? What's crazy was, so I also served a mission, and that's when I like first talked about it, was because I had to take anger management. I wasn't getting along with my companions. Sis, I had like 4 companions in 3 months. That's not normal.
No.
Yeah, you're like, no, that's not normal.
No, you're right, sis, that's not normal.
I took anger management, or therapy, they called it. It's anger management, but yeah, she broke me, and it's crazy. And like, but I feel like, again, back to life is not by default but by design, because I went on a mission, even though for a certain amount of time, it led me to coming out. And then I had a conversation with my cousin when I got home, like literally a month when I got home, and they're asking me like, how's the mainland, blah blah blah, how's your mission? So I told them, like, I was brutally honest, and they're like 9th grade, and one of them was like, he used to do that to me too. Oh, I was pissed. I was like, I could have saved her, you know? And so I immediately went to the police station, and like, I'm already 21 years old. This was like years ago. And then like, after telling all my story, my family didn't want like to do, like, I had to go through it like by myself pretty much. Like,
they wanted to pretend like it didn't happen.
Pretty much, yeah. Or they just didn't know how to talk about it, like courts and all of that. Like, I had to literally fly to another island by myself and like go through all of that. I had one cousin reach out, like, if she wanted I wanted her to come, but I didn't want to put people in that, and like, I was still like new to adulthood, and it was crazy, like to be able to survive that though. And everything that came after that is like huge, like celebrating those small wins. And that's why I feel like I'm still alive to tell the story, and I think, thanks so much for feeling the tank of courage, because I'm definitely going to be ready.
Well, and I think that's what's so awesome is that hopefully with the intentions of if my why, or I should say when my why happens, that to have people like yourself, like myself, and there's lots of others that I'm sure that are out there, lots of, warriors, they can be men or women, that need to tell their story. And then the kids will be able to see like, wow, look at what they've gone and done. Look at what they could accomplish. Look at what, so this isn't my defining moment. Like Oprah, like, like that's a huge thing that she's had to suffer through. I'm like, kudos to her for being able to just be like, oh, in your face, Right. So I think what you're trying to do is great. I think it's good. And I hope that it touches people in the aspect where it's like, first off, if someone comes and talks to you about this, like, don't just brush it under the rug. Don't pretend like it's not, You know, I don't care who it is. I don't care how close that family member is, but you should never not take it seriously. And don't ever let that person that's finally opening up, and because it takes a lot for them to do that. Yeah. You know, don't let them feel anything like it's their fault, because it's totally not their fault. So
dang, I felt that. Thank you. Holy smoke, that was deep. What is one thing you wish everyone in the world had more of?
Love. I really do. I kind of wish we all could just see each other through like loving eyes. You know, just see each other like how I imagine God. I'm a very God believing woman, and I just wish all of us could see each other the way God sees us. Yeah. And then we'll just understand people so much more.
So much. I think we lose sight at like we're all doing this world for the first time together, you know? We're going to make mistakes. Yep. And we're going to continue to make mistakes.
We're trying. We all trying.
Yeah. Yep. And sometimes I got to remember that too. Like I get so frustrated when someone does one thing and you're like, dang it, we're human becomings, not human beings, you know?
Yep. And we all are guilty of that. That's one of our downfalls. But
who has been your biggest mentor that you've never met before?
Let's see. My biggest mentor that I've never met before, I would say in the real estate realm, I really like Robert Kiyosaki. I don't know if do you know who he is?
Rich Man Poor Dad. Yep. Oh wait, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yep. So he has a lot of really like that kind of sparked my interest in it, and obviously I've never met him, but yeah, he would definitely be my mentor of that I don't know. So
doesn't he do like some conferences out here sometimes?
I think he does. I don't think he has as much interaction with it that he used to.
Oh, so he just sends people then, huh?
Like I think they use his like the name Rich Dad Poor Dad, but it's not the same like before, like what it used to be. So
got it.
Yeah.
See, and all he did was share his stories.
Yep.
That's crazy.
His life experiences.
Yeah.
Totally.
How do you plan to make more ripples of positivity in social media and the world?
I try to avoid being negative on social media, like or not. I just try to avoid the negative stuff in social media. Like it's just not worth it. You know, anything that I see like bad stuff, stories or anything, I just am like, I don't care anymore, you know? So I think that helps me be more open-minded and positive in the content that I'm trying to share.
Because you see so much negative?
Yeah, I think we see a lot of it on social media. Like
not me anymore. I've used the mute button.
But more like the articles. I mean, when I saw that the other day, I was like, oh, that's smart. I'm gonna do that. Like,
dude,
love you, my friend, but no, thank you. I don't need to hear your drama. Yeah, you know, like I'm okay. But I think just like the articles, I guess the news, True. You know, that kind of stuff that's out there is it's like I don't watch the news anymore, not because I don't want to know what's going on, but I just feel like it's all bad things, and it's like, you know, I don't let it phase me or affect me. So, and then as far as in the world, I just want to try to help. Like that's really my underlying goal. I asked my husband if I was centered, and he said no, but you're self-driven, because I get focused on like I want to be on, you know, this, because I want his criticism. I want him to be honest with me. And he's like, you're self-driven when you want to do something and you just focus on that. So sometimes it comes off like you are, but you're really not, because your underlying goal is to want to help other people. So that's what I think I would like to take more into the world, is just being able to help, giving time. You know, time doesn't cost anything most of the time.
Wow, that's crazy that you said that, because for me recently I've been living my life like time is money, you know?
Yeah. Well, it is, girl. It is. Time is money. I think when you get to a point too where you're just like, okay, I'm set. Like that's what I will say. We're very fortunate where we've been able to create financial freedom within our own lives. So now we can do what we want with our time.
Heck yes.
So it's like, if I had to be strapped to a 9-to-5 job, yeah, time is money, you know? But we've been very fortunate in our ventures as business. And so we are able to, like, right now is a little bit crazy because we're trying to help other people get to that point. Like, that's really our goal, is to help other people to create their own financial freedom. Because it's not so fun going on cruises by ourselves.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it gets boring. So that's why I think for me now, it's like time is completely different than when I used to work punching a clock all the time. So
yeah. That makes sense. Man, you make me want to quit my job.
Go get on a boat.
We are going in May.
I know you are. Disneyland. You told me about that Disney cruise.
Well, you're right. It's gonna affect my job for sure. My 9-to-5 gonna be affected. I'm gonna have to work extra hard when I come back. Let's see. What takes up most of your time?
Oh my gosh, real estate.
That's good though.
Real estate right now. Real estate. That's all I do right now. Like. So that's definitely what's taking up the most of my time. My poor husband.
What's one advice you would give yourself 10 years ago?
Buy sooner.
Man, imagine the sooner. Prices back then.
That's what I'm saying. Do what I'm doing now 10 years later or 10 years earlier. Probably have been way different. Like, I would already be doing my why, you know? So that's really what I would tell myself 10 years ago. Because you're right, it's crazy.
Yeah. But ain't perfect timing then in the now, right?
Yeah. You can succeed in any time, I think. It's just a matter of having the desire to. That's for sure.
Yeah, if you really want to, right? So tell me, what's your morning routine? Like, do you have one? Do you have like a...
I wake up. I let my dogs out. No, just kidding. I always start with, well, I was really bad for a while, but I've been doing better. I always started with prayer. And then I go and let my dogs out, make my mate, which is a South American drink that I drink on my mission. And so I just got accustomed to it. And then I listen to the scriptures. And then I listen to books. I used to read books, but it took a lot of time. So now I do like audio, listen to the audiobooks. And I'll choose 2 books. I'll choose one book within my industry. And then I'll choose another book that's more talking about, it can be different things that I need to work on. Like the last one that I just finished was The Compound Effect. And the one before that was...
Oh, I heard that one is good.
Yeah. Like just to, what can I work on, or how to win over and influence people. I read that one prior to that one. So I'll choose one in my industry, and then I'll choose one that's just more like self-growth, self-work. And then I also do a daily quote, and I do YouTube motivational videos. So I'll listen to those, find out which ones and then I'll pick out a phrase or something from that motivational video. And when he was working, which he does, he works with me now, but when he was working full time, I would send the videos to him so we could discuss it and talk about it. But that's pretty much my morning routine. And then I'm in the office doing my business stuff. But that's pretty much my, like, get up and attack the day.
Dope. Okay, last one. If you could give back to your village, what would you do?
My village in Samoa? Or just a village in general? Oh boy. If I could give back to my village, and I'm thinking of my village in Samoa, I would educate them, because I'm a firm believer that you can't, give a man a fish, feed him for a day, you teach him how to fish, feed him for a lifetime. So I feel like I would really take back education and learning how to apply the education that's been given.
That's dope. Anything else you want to share with our viewers and listeners?
she's moving up and on, and I think I really think what you're trying to do, Jean, is awesome. I'm excited. I love seeing polypreneurs. Like,
damn, you're gonna love First Fridays.
Yeah, and like I saw that, I was like, dang, I need to go to that. Like, but I do. I love it. I love that people are out there. They're trying to change, you know, where we came from or where our ancestors came from, and we're trying to make a difference, and we're trying to make that imprint in the world. And so I think it's great. So keep doing what you're doing. People keep listening.
People keep listening.
Keep listening. Yep.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me. It's been awesome.